Tiene la palabra Patriotic Vision, seguida de Math for Peace.
Distinguished delegates, the Water Action Decade 2018-2028 is now at its midpoint. Yet around the world, 3 in 10 of the world's population still lack access to safe drinking water at home. 6 in 10 live without safely managed sanitation services. Millions of lives are lost each year as a result. Excellencies, everyone needs to know what's happening in our world right now. In the last 90 days, our planet has been experiencing the most extreme heat event in world history. Lakes and rivers have dried up, from the US to Europe to China to the Middle East to the rest of the world. Waters have receded, crops have been killed, factories have been closed, and this heat wave is still raging on. Just for perspective, Poyang Lake, China's biggest freshwater lake, reduced to just 25% of its usual size by a severe drought. And what caused Yangtze, China's most important river and the 3rd longest in the world, to dry up, affecting hydropower, shipping routes, limiting drinking water supplies, and even much worse. The effects of something this extreme is going to affect us all. We saw the prices of food, fuel, and energy soared due to the situation in Ukraine. And this is predicted to make things a lot worse because we depend on China imports than Russia and Ukraine. Ladies and gentlemen, the COVID-19 pandemic has driven inequalities even deeper and is pushing us even further behind from achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. COVID-19 has reminded us that we live on a small planet, where none of us are isolated from the problems in our global community. So governments need to remember that the science who told us to worry about COVID-19 and how to deal with it is the same science telling us to worry about climate change with a long list of recommendations on climate actions. The point here is not that COVID-19 is good or necessary. It's instead an opportunity to take to prevent the millions of future deaths caused directly through water shortages or indirectly through the consequences of a hotter planet. If we don't act the same way about climate change and the water crisis, the effect of a water scarcity will be much worse. My friends, over the coming years, our water-related challenges will become even more pressing, and poor access to water is compounded by higher demands of a global population and rapidly developing global economy, along with the adverse effects of climate change. According to UNICEF data, around 700 million people could be displaced by intense water scarcity by 2030. With just 8 years to go to the deadline of 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, we are seriously off track to achieve the 6 Sustainable Development Goals of clean water and sanitation for all, ignoring the vital relationship between sustainable development and water resources. Water is more than a goal. It is a human right, fundamental to human dignity. It is life itself.